Friends, I want to hit the brakes and change your thoughts about the downside of retirement. Yes, today we're going to be talking about the dark side of the rest of your life. And if you stay till the end, guys, click. The light comes on and you're better equipped for what should be the best years of your life. Now, let me start by asking you a question. What happens if the hardest part of retirement isn't the money? What? What if these seven situations that quietly disappear from your life and nobody warned you about them? Well, guys, here are your workarounds for success. All right. So here's what I know after years of working with retirees and personally, my wife and myself going through this together. Most people spend decades planning for the financial side of retirement and almost no time preparing for what happens inside your identity, your friendships, and your sense of purpose. Now, research from UCLA found that loneliness scores peaked the first year after retirement, jumping nearly 40% compared to pre retirement levels. And 2020 meta analysis found that nearly one in three retirees experienced real identity distress after leaving their careers. So, today we're going to walk through the seven things that quietly go after you retire. And more importantly, what you can do about each one right now. Now, stick with me because number five is the one that hits people the hardest. And most people never see it coming. I didn't. I know my wife didn't. And I sure don't want you to go through the same things we experienced. All right, number one, structure disappears. Now, the first thing that quietly vanishes is your daily structure. And this one will sneak up on you very fast. For 30 or 35 years, your days had guardrails. You had meetings and deadlines and commutes and schedules. You didn't have to decide what to do. The calendar decided for you. And then retirement hits, and all of a sudden, it's all open space. Now, at first, that feels amazing. Every day is like a Saturday. Gosh, it sure did feel that way for me. Well, here's the thing. Saturdays were great because you had five structured days before them. But it's different when every day is a Saturday and it stops feeling like a reward. Now, research shows the first 6 to 12 months of retirement are the most disorienting, not because of money, because of this loss of rhythm. So, what's the fix? You don't find structure, you build it. Morning routines, fixed start times, weekly anchors, things that are yours, not your employees. You own your wake up. You own the ability to have coffee at a coffee house just to have a change of scenery. What about a lunch date? Or even meeting a friend and hitting a bucket of balls? Guys, what about tackling the garage so you can get your spouse's car in for winter? So much to do, it's overwhelming. All right, number two, work friendships fade. Now, the second thing that goes quietly, and this one really stings a bit, it's your work friendships. This one caught me by surprise. Not because of conflict, not because anyone did anything wrong. It's just a natural shift. The shared interest was work. The proximity was the office. And when both of those disappeared, so does the glue that held all those relationships together. Well, I want you to think about your friends right now. Write down every single name, then ask yourself, which of these people would I call at 2 a.m. with a real problem? Hey, got any extra cash? I'm in jail. Just joking, friends, but you understand. Who is your real friend that would get up in the morning and bail you out of jail? Well, those are your core friends. The rest, well, they were situational, and that's okay. It doesn't make them less meaningful. It just makes them not want to follow you into this next chapter. And the key is not to force old connections to fit your new life. It's to build new ones with people who are living in the same retirement dream as you are right now. All right, moving on to number three, work ambition redirects. Now, your work ambition goes quietly. And this one actually surprises a lot of people, especially my wife on this one. You think that that competitive drive, that push to achieve, that energy that got you to retirement, you think it's just going to stick around. And then one day you realize you don't care about the corporate ladder anymore. Not at all. Now, here's the good news, guys. The ambition doesn't disappear. Like I said, it simply redirects. Our brains are wired for growth and progress, and that doesn't change when you're 62 or 65 or even 70. What really changes is the context. One retired subscriber I heard about now redirects his work ambition into restoring classic cars. This is my neighbor across the street. And gosh, it is a beautiful vehicle. Another guy wants to hike the Rockies. Well, not work goals, but goals that gave him something to check off, something to move towards and to focus on. The key is choosing challenges that you care about, a new skill, even a creative project, a fitness goal. The form does not matter. What matters is having a reason to get up in the morning. All right, number four, the sense of urgency dissolves. Now, guys, think about it. This one is really interesting because it actually sounds like a good thing, and mostly it is. The constant sense of urgency does disappear. When you're working, everything feels like it has to happen right now. Emails, decisions, errands. You're mentally sprinting through every single day. And at the end of the day, you gasp like, I have so much else to do. Well, you don't carry that into retirement. In retirement, that tempo just slows down. At first, it feels a little uncomfortable, I've got to admit. Like you're forgetting something, like you're simply falling behind on what you thought you were going to get done the first month, the first 6 months, the first year. But here's what I want you to hear: that urgency you guys feel is dissolving. It's actually your mind and your body finally exhaling after decades of pressure. And guys, you deserve that. When nothing feels urgent, everything gets delayed. So, what's the challenge? Well, when nothing feels urgent, everything gets delayed. The car service, the doctor's appointment, guys, that colonoscopy that was due 6 months ago. So, you still need some self imposed deadlines, especially when it is about your health. Motivation is not optional. All right, guys, here it is. This is number five. You stop feeling needed. This is huge. Now, here's the big one I've been telling you about, the one that hits the hardest. And this, you stop feeling needed. For your entire career, people were asking for your help, your expertise, your decisions, your time. And then in retirement, the phone stops ringing, the emails stop coming. The person who replaced you has moved on. And there's this quiet that sets in, and it can feel like loneliness, even if you're surrounded, like I am, by people. And here's what I want you to know: you still have skills, you still have experience, you still have wisdom that has nowhere to go right now, but it can flow once again, guys. Volunteer, consider mentoring, consider teaching. Find a place where your knowledge solves someone else's problems. That's where your sense of purpose lives. And now, number 6, the applause ends. All right. Now, number 6, the recognition does go quiet. When you're working, there's a scoreboard, performance reviews, promotion, a boss who says, "Hey, great job." Your colleagues who notice your work. And in retirement, that scoreboard disappears overnight. Now, for people who are performance driven, and a lot of us are, this is a real adjustment. There's no referee in retirement. No one's blowing the whistle saying, "Hey, you're winning today." All right. And without that external validation, self doubt can start to creep in. You start questioning whether what you're doing really matters, whether you're doing it well. So here's what I suggest: create your own scorecard. Check in with yourself once a week. How am I doing with my health? Did I make those doctor's appointment? Guys, that colonoscopy appointment? What about my relationships, my purpose, my mental engagement? You don't need someone else to grade you, but you do need to be paying attention. And number 7, your work identity goes silent. This is the one that quietly reshapes everything. Your work identity disappears. Guys, for decades, when somebody asked, "Hey, who are you? What do you do?" Well, the answer always started with what you did. I was a corporate security manager for an international utility, a Fortune 34 company of 43 billion in sales. That's who I was. It could be that you're a manager, it could be you're a doctor, it could be you're an executive. That title was your shorthand for your value in the world as you see it, not as your friends see it. And then you retire, and that title is gone. And the question, "Who are you?" suddenly feels a lot harder to answer. But here is the truth I want you to hold on to, guys. Your worth was never tied to your job title. It was always tied to who you are and how you show up for people around you. Retirement doesn't take that away. It actually gives you space to finally discover it. All right, guys. Now, let's bring all this together. The 7 things that go quietly after you retire, some maybe not so quietly: structure, work friendships, ambition, urgency, feeling needed, and recognition, along with your work identity. Now, none of these are reasons to fear retirement. They're reasons to prepare for it. Because when you know what's shifting, you can meet it with grace and direction to rebuild it into a retirement that feels full and true to who you actually are right now. So here's what I want you to do. In the comments below, do me a favor, guys. This is super important. Please do me a favor and do this. Tell me which one of these 7 hits you the closest. Friends, I read every single comment, and your answers might just help somebody else feel a little less alone in what they're doing and what they're going through right now. And guys, if this video helped you, be sure to watch this one, okay? Because we go even deeper to how to rebuild your sense of purpose, your connection in retirement. Guys, my name is Mark, Retirement for Seniors. I appreciate you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye for now.